Welcome to The Business of Travel, the official podcast of the Global Business Travel Association. I'm Suzanne Neufang, CEO of GBTA. The business travel industry is powered by innovative global suppliers and intermediaries who focus on serving both corporate travel programs and the travelers whom companies send out on work trips. GBTA is fortunate to have many of these travel supplier companies serving on our Allied Leadership Council, comprised of top industry supporters across several travel categories. In this podcast series, GBTA Allied Leadership Council members and key executives from their companies discuss top focus areas, the latest business travel trends, and what the future holds for corporate travel in general. In today's episode, we're diving into global hotel chain strategies and considerations with executives from Hilton. We'll explore the current state of business travel from their perspective and what Hilton is focused on to serve customers in this space going forward. It's my pleasure to be joined today by Frank Passanante, Hilton's Senior Vice President, Global Head of Sales and HRCC, and a member of GBTA's Allied Leadership Council, and his colleague, Marizel De La Torre, Hilton's Vice President of Global Distribution. Welcome, Frank and Marizel, and thanks for joining me for today's discussion.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us, Suzanne. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So let's get started. There is a lot of innovation in the corporate travel distribution space these days. So how should customers be thinking about the vast number of opportunities that they get pitched on a daily basis?
Great question, Suzanne. And yes, there is a lot of innovation. And at Hilton, we know that this space is moving really fast and furious. Our time in GBTA in Denver recently, well, it just reinforced that for sure. So many of the conversations that I had personally with customers involved some discussion around whether it was improving the traveler experience or serving up richer content or finding efficiency, all in the context of innovation. And while I think there's been a feeling for a long time that transformation was on the horizon, from what we're hearing and seeing right now at this point in time, we feel like we're probably the closest we've come to being on the edge of real change. And to your question about what should customers be thinking about, what we've been trying to reinforce with the discussions that we've had with customers is that customers shouldn't and don't have to do it alone, especially since this space is moving so quickly. Collaborating and having really open and transparent conversations with your key partners and suppliers up front at the time of consideration when you're looking at some of these alternative solutions, that really is what will ensure that there's much easier transition and downstream integration with success. So super, super important that open, transparent, and upfront conversations are happening to really ensure a smooth integration. I know Marizel has some thoughts on the topic as well.
Yeah, that's right. And Frank touched on some things that are really important. And what we also think is really important is for customers to really be clear on what their overarching strategies and objectives are. There's, at the end of the day, multiple ways to achieve the same things. And a lot of the times we find that we, as well as some of the customers, get caught up in the specific tactics rather than looking at what the strategic outcomes they're trying to solve for are. And not every opportunity is worthwhile. I mean, really, if we were chasing everything that came our way, we probably wouldn't have time to do much else. And so we really think that customers should look at innovation, not just for novelty, but for measurable business impact. They also need to consider their ability to integrate and adapt to any new technology as we do. And we think really that the key is aligning solutions to corporate travel goals, whether that's cost or efficiency or employee benefits or even duty of care compliance. Many innovations we think can sound really compelling in isolation, but the true value comes when they can integrate seamlessly into a company's existing travel program, when they align with procurement policies, or where they enhance the traveler's overall experience.
Seamlessness, that is certainly a theme that I hear more and more as well. And related to this, is there something specifically that customers should be thinking about that relates to the complexities of the considerations that go into evaluating potential solutions?
Yeah, I think the word you just used, complexities. It is complex. This is not easy stuff. And many of the travel managers in this audience certainly know that. A really big question to ask, as you're going down this path is, what do your API capabilities look like? Or what do the API capabilities look like of the partner or TMC that you're working with look like? Not every available solution makes sense for the ecosystem in which you're operating in, which means they can't all be adopted without significant customization. The real quality of the API connectivity, it matters. Speed and reliability and the data accuracy, and there's so many things that really go into it. I'll let my colleague talk about some of the technical specifics there.
I don't know how much you want me to talk because I completely geek out about this, but I'll try to boil it down to some of the base tactics of things that they should consider. One is integration, like Frank said. So will this work with your existing online booking tool, your TMC, or your expense platform without adding significant complexity? The other is around data and reporting. Is the technology that you're looking to adopt giving you consolidated insights across multiple booking channels, or giving you access to a better traveler personalization opportunity or spend visibility? Change management, going back to your question about seamlessness and complexities, how much training is going to be required? What behavioral shift will be required to adopt this new technology? And what distribution management tools do you have and can adopt to this? Duty of care is another big one, right? So does this enhance safety, tracking, and traveler support? Cost versus value. Will the savings or productivity gains or traveler satisfaction outweigh the investment, both in cost and in resources? And like Frank said, can your current platform handle this? Can it support the new technology, or do you need to bring in a partner? All of that factors into it. And finally, have you talked to your preferred hotel partners, like Hilton? And do they have the capability to integrate with the solutions that you're considering?
Hmm. You talked about some magic words there as well. And I think where you mentioned the travelers themselves are the ultimate stakeholder. So, how does Hilton approach collaboration with corporate clients, procurement, and even IT providers to co-create the best possible experience for those business travelers?
Yeah, so listen, I mean, we've been talking about it. The best success comes when we understand what the customers are trying to achieve, and then we work together, recognizing that, the way Hilton looks at it is we're evaluating these innovations holistically, and we're looking for ways and solutions that can adapt with our customers' evolving needs. Understanding the overarching objectives allows us to match up those solutions with what customers are trying to solve. And as it relates to co-creation, I think there's a really good example of that. We listen loudly to our corporate customers, and then we engage with other partners out there to try to deliver against some of those pain points, meaning we're trying to solve problems for our customers. And one of the things that we've been able to do recently that I think is a good example of co-creation working with a partner is something we've recently announced with Confirma. This partnership with Confirma was established earlier this year, and it really does mark a milestone in streamlining, creating more efficiency, and a better traveler experience around virtual credit cards, which has been a long-standing pain point for so many of our corporate travel managers and the travelers that are trying to check into hotels late at night and having challenges with not having VCC details available at the desk when they're checking in. So we made a decision to partner with Confirma, obviously one of the major providers in the VCC space. And it was driven by the growing demand for less friction from customers and digital first experiences. So across many segments, we've heard the need for ease of payment. And while VCCs were originally thought about in the context of like employees and interns and project teams, it's become way more mainstream, with corporate clients across the board leaning into virtual and alternative payment methods. So we've really found a great level of success early on with this integration. What we've done is we've integrated Confirma VCC details directly into our PMS. So we've had a flag in our CRS, but now the VCC details get integrated right into the PMS. So when a traveler shows up at the front desk, all of those details are there, and we're not chasing faxes and other payment details. It's all integrated directly into our systems. It's making a huge difference.
That sounds like a great improvement in the efficiency of making a business traveler's experience the best possible.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And it's really, like Frank said, it's a partnership that we're excited about, not just from an efficiency perspective, but also from a safety and security perspective. We know that using a partnership like Confirma also eliminates the need for physical cards. And what we're hearing is that around 79% of travel buyers see this as an effective way to prevent fraud. It's also obviously incredibly important for us. It automates payments, it streamlines speed, spend reconciliation, reduces manual work, but really it's all about reducing those major friction points and creating a safer, more secure experience. And in that same vein, we are in talks with other partners because, again, our goal is to seek to create a more mutually beneficial solution for all our corporate customers in this space.
There's magic in efficiency, but also in fraud prevention. Are there other innovations in the payment space that you think corporate customers should be considering?
Absolutely. I mean, it is a hot topic for sure. And again, another topic of conversation at GBTA recently. Listen, corporate customers might also want to consider centralized payment solutions. So while VCC certainly provides some level of control and centralized payments, there are other options like pure centralized payment that really give better end-to-end visibility, real-time payment, settlement options, embedded payment tools that allow payment and reconciliation to be handled at the same time. These are the types of discussions we're having with many of our customers. Again, it's going back to understanding what their pain points are, what they're trying to achieve. And there's potentially some partners and some things that we can do that we can deploy to really help the cause.
Yeah, that's right. And some of the things we're considering are things like automated expense integration. And we're also looking at payments tools that can feed directly into expense management systems that enable us to do things like multi-border cross-payment optimization, all using platforms that can automatically convert and settled in preferred currencies, which of course in turn helps reduce things like foreign exchange fees and improving cash flow forecasting. Tokenization and advanced fraud protection, again, is an area that we're looking at that has really evolved recently. It's now using things like AI-powered monitoring and encryption to really protect sensitive payment information. And we're looking at automation across things like accounts payable and accounts receivable processes, looking at tools that can very seamlessly, again, that word, integrate into payment and receivable workflows for really faster settlement, improved processes, and again, just a better customer experience all around.
I've always thought that finance processes are the unsung heroes of keeping the travel industry going, and you're definitely paying attention there. So, are there other customer groups or innovations that Hilton is thinking about as you're thinking about the future of the business travel space?
Yeah. So Suzanne, as I said, we're constantly listening loud to the customers and trying to see what else we can help with, solving problems. And we recognize specifically that there are millions of small to medium sized businesses, SMBs, that don't work with TMCs today in many cases, but have hotel needs and want to engage with hotel partners like us and other travel providers across the entire travel ecosystem. But they don't necessarily have the buying power on their own. We did some research. It exposed that 75% of SMBs book their own business trips and manage their travel in-house, which really, pointed us in the direction of, listen, there's a lot of talk about SMBs, and there's certainly a lot of folks that are trying to solve their SMB pain points. But with the rise and the resilience of SMBs, we really thought that there was an opportunity for us to innovate with digital self-service tools that really do allow those customers to allow us to reach that audience and give them something that they've been asking for. We're not alone. I mean, across the travel ecosystem, a lot of folks are focusing on SMBs. But I think we found the right balance. In 2024, last year, we launched Hilton for Business, which is a digital forward travel program. It's designed specifically for this audience, small to medium-sized businesses. It empowers the company owners as well as the travelers themselves for SMBs to simplify travel management while also giving them rewards, benefits, and discounts across our portfolio. And since we've launched it a year ago, we have hundreds of thousands of accounts in the SMB program. Our target audience were those customers that were small, that are not working with TMCs, that were in desperate need of some support. And we found a really good level of success.
Yeah, and just to get one more statistic in there, we also discovered that about 70% of our SMBs identified point earning opportunities as one of the most important features of a business travel program. And so with that in mind, we looked at what the program features looked like, and we prioritized ensuring that we were not only meeting, but really exceeding customer expectations, all while trying to drive the industry forward. And so some of the Hilton honors benefits that are available for Hilton for business customers and their employees around the world include things like portfolio-wide discounts, rapid onboarding, travel rewards for small businesses and their employees, and seamless program management. And all of this is with really no spend requirements. And one of the real key benefits here is, like Frank said, it's quick enrollment. Quick verification processes, and really looking to minimize the time that is required for the entire company to start booking discounted business travel.
That all bodes well, I think, for the long tail of our industry as well. I think as we think about those whose companies eventually grow and then need to know more about how to both take care of their travelers while they're on the road and also have great partners that they manage their spend with. So I think those all sound like really interesting initiatives. In our last question, let's think about your hotel operators and your network. I know you have thousands, if not more than that. There's a lot of discussion about CRS innovation. So that involves the agility and flexibility, giving hotel operators to more deeply and effectively personalize, for example, the guest experience. So what is Hilton's perspective on this, and how are you moving that forward?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head. It's personalization and the ability to really give our customers, our travelers, exactly what they're looking for. So fortunately, we started modernizing our CRS back in 2018 and 2019, and we were fully cloud-based starting in 2020. We had our CRS 2020 mantra for many years, but what that's given us is an opportunity to really expand rapidly and giving us a bit of a head start and to stay ahead of the curve. And what a modern tech stack does, it just gives us exactly that. It gives us the agility to truly personalize the experience for our guests and to offer things that were just simply impossible in the monolithic and old tech stacks that we were operating with. One example is our ability to sell and confirm specific room types. Something that's been widely praised is our ability to sell confirmed connecting rooms. That's just an example of, instead of just a request for something, the ability using our modern CRS to actually book and confirm connecting rooms prior to arrival. It's also our investments in technology have also allowed us to do things like the digital check-in, which allows you to pick a specific room for yourself prior to checking 24 hours in advance, and other innovations that have all been powered by the CRS innovations. Another thing that we've done, just slightly, a little bit different, but something that we're really proud of that is along the same lines, is we've invested and really continue to invest in a messaging platform that spans our entire portfolio globally. And this is allowing us to better communicate with travelers pre-arrival, during their stay, post-arrival, really personalizing their stay experience and better anticipating and responding to what our guests need real time. So whether you're inquiring about a late checkout or your flight was delayed and you're going to be late to the hotel, you have the ability now at all of our hotels across the portfolio to talk real time with our team members on property to really enhance the guest stay. So again, CRS, our tech stack, additional guest experience innovations like instant messaging, all really important. And we're not stopping there. I mean, there's other things that we've been doing as well.
Yeah, we've been
Please.
focused, I think, for the last year and a half or so, on a complete property management system transformation, which for us, it really represents a powerful combination of, like Frank said, an agile CRS and now a PMS that is also empowering our hotel team members to better personalize the guest experience. We have a cloud-based property engagement platform called PEP. And this was developed exclusively for Hilton. It's now at over, I think, 5,500 properties across I don't know, 15 brands, 15 countries, something like that. And what it really does is it streamlines operations. It allows the team member to really address the customer needs and identify cost efficiencies for the owners within one standard platform that can all be scaled worldwide. And most importantly, because all of this accelerates computer-based transactions at the front desk and throughout the hotel, what it really does is it helps increase the amount of the time that the hotel team members can actually focus and dedicate on providing a truly personalized experience and focus on the stay. And what we know is that it's working. So far, we're exceeding our overall satisfaction targets. And so we feel like we're on the right track here.
Congratulations on all those big moves. I know that not just myself, but everybody else who stays at Hilton's has also been noticing this as a business traveler perspective. So huge congratulations on this strategy working. Now, of course, this has been a terrific conversation on global hospitality considerations within the corporate travel market, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. So I want to say thanks so much, Frank and Marizel, for your insights. As an industry leader, it's important and helpful to get Hilton's perspective on global hotel innovation, distribution approaches, and of course, ultimately customer considerations, whether you're a traveler or that procurement customer that you work with on a corporate level. So as we close, I want to thank all of you at home for listening to today's conversation. I'm Suzanne Neufang, CEO of GBTA, and I've been speaking today with Frank Passanante, Hilton Senior Vice President and Global Head of Sales in HRCC. Frank's also a member of GBTA's Allied Leadership Council, and Marizel De La Torre, Hilton's Vice President of Global Distribution. And you've been listening to The Business of Travel, the official podcast of the Global Business Travel Association. For more information about GBTA and our work, please visit gbta.org and be sure to rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, thanks for listening.